The launch day of the Odyssey was a day the world had waited for decades. Crowds gathered at the spaceport, their faces filled with excitement, awe, and hope. Children pointed at the massive spacecraft with shining eyes, and elders whispered quietly to one another, remembering the early days of space exploration. The Odyssey was unlike any ship ever built. It was not just a vessel, it was a symbol of human achievement. Engineers, scientists, and workers who had spent years perfecting every detail stood proudly on the launch platform, their uniforms spotless, their expressions serious yet proud. Flags from all over the world fluttered in the wind, a reminder that this ship was humanity's collective dream. Captain Elena Voss walked toward the ship with calm confidence. Her uniform was sharp, her boots clicking softly on the metal platform. She had led many missions before, but this was different. This was humanity's most ambitious voyage yet. Her eyes scanned the excited crowd below, then shifted to her crew, who were busy checking their stations and preparing for departure. She nodded to them, and they returned her confidence with quiet determination. Among the crew was Dr. Ryan Cale, a young biologist who had never been on such a mission before. His curiosity shone in every glance, every small movement. He had dreamed of exploring worlds beyond Earth since he was a child, and now he was finally part of the team that would do it. The Odyssey's engines were silent for a moment before a low hum began, growing louder as the countdown started. People held their breath, and a sense of collective anticipation filled the air. 10, 9, 8. The numbers counted down steadily, almost ritualistically. The crew on board were strapped in, their instruments glowing with lights and data streams. Every system had been checked, every detail accounted for. 3, 2, 1, and the engines roared to life. The ground trembled beneath the platform, and a cloud of smoke rose as the Odyssey slowly lifted off the Earth, moving gracefully into the sky. The ship ascended through the atmosphere, leaving behind a trail of light that seemed to stretch for miles. The crowd cheered, and some even cried. Television cameras broadcasted the event live to every corner of the planet. People at home felt the same mix of awe and pride as those at the launch site. For a moment, humanity felt united in wonder. The ship's silhouette against the darkening sky was a promise of discovery, of new worlds waiting to be explored. Inside the Odyssey, the crew adjusted to the gentle pull of acceleration. The ship hummed around them, systems monitoring every detail of life support, navigation, and communications. Captain Voss moved through the corridors, checking on her team, offering small smiles and nods. The crew responded in kind, their focus absolute. Dr. Cale was already examining the first scans of deep space, his eyes lighting up at every anomaly, every signal that hinted at the unknown. The first few days in space were quiet. The vastness of the void outside the ship's windows was both beautiful and humbling. Stars stretched across the darkness like scattered diamonds, and the glow of distant galaxies reminded the crew of how small they were in the universe. Yet, despite the emptiness, there was a sense of energy and life inside the Odyssey. The crew worked tirelessly, running simulations, preparing for the arrival at the Lyra system, and monitoring for any unknown threats. Captain Voss called the crew together for a meeting in the main observation deck. The room was filled with the soft hum of the ship's systems and the distant twinkle of stars beyond the glass walls. "We are on the edge of something extraordinary," she said. Her voice was calm but carried authority. "We will see worlds no human has seen before. Our mission is to explore, to understand, and to return safely. Remember, we are not just representing ourselves. We represent all of humanity." Her words resonated through the room, and each crew member felt the weight of responsibility. Dr. Cale, sitting near the window, felt a surge of excitement. He imagined the alien flora and fauna he might study, the discoveries that could change science forever. He thought of Earth, so far below them, and felt a mixture of homesickness and anticipation. The journey ahead would be long and uncertain, but the promise of discovery made every moment worth it. As the Odyssey approached the edge of the solar system, the crew encountered the first sign of something unusual. A small energy signature appeared on the sensors, faint but distinct. Lieutenant Marco Reyes, the ship's navigator, called Captain Voss to the bridge. "Captain, I'm reading a strange energy field ahead," he reported. The screen showed a soft, swirling glow, unlike anything they had seen before. "It doesn't match any known cosmic phenomena," he added, his voice a mixture of curiosity and concern. Captain Voss studied the readings, her mind calculating the risks and possibilities. "Maintain a safe distance for now," she ordered. "Keep scanning and recording everything. We need to understand what we are approaching before making any decisions." The crew worked efficiently, their training and discipline keeping the excitement from turning into fear. Dr. Cale joined them, his eyes wide as he observed the swirling patterns of energy. "It's beautiful," he whispered, almost to himself, "like the universe is alive." Days passed as the Odyssey moved closer to the Lyra system. The energy signature continued to appear on the sensors intermittently, never threatening but always present. The crew speculated endlessly. Could it be a new form of life? A natural phenomenon unknown to science? Or something even stranger? Despite the uncertainty, the team felt a shared excitement. Humanity had always been explorers, and this was the ultimate adventure. On the 10th day of their voyage, the first planet in the Lyra system came into view. It was unlike anything humans had seen. Vast crystal plains shimmered under a pale sun, and floating mountains drifted in the atmosphere as if held by invisible hands. Oceans glowed faintly with colors no human eye could name. The crew gathered at the observation deck, unable to tear their eyes away from the alien beauty. Dr. Cale felt his heart race with joy and disbelief. "It's perfect," he said softly. "It's alive in ways we can only imagine." Captain Voss ordered the ship to enter orbit, allowing the crew to conduct scans and gather initial data. Teams prepared for potential landings, selecting regions that appeared safe and scientifically promising. The excitement in the ship was palpable. Every crew member felt the thrill of discovery, the pride of being part of something larger than themselves. This was humanity reaching for the stars in the truest sense. The following day, the crew deployed drones to explore the planet's surface. The images transmitted back were breathtaking. Strange plant life with translucent leaves shimmered in the alien sunlight. Rivers of glowing liquid wound through forests of crystalline trees. Strange creatures moved gracefully across the terrain, unlike anything seen on Earth, yet alive and vibrant. Dr. Cale took notes frantically, his mind racing with questions and hypotheses. He could hardly believe he was witnessing this firsthand. As night fell on the Odyssey, the ship orbited the planet silently. The crew gathered in small groups, discussing the day's discoveries and planning the next steps. There was a quiet sense of camaraderie and purpose. For the first time in generations, humans had set foot, though indirectly, on a world untouched by their influence. It was a reminder of what humanity could achieve when curiosity, intelligence, and courage worked together. Captain Voss stood alone for a moment, looking out at the alien planet below. She felt a mixture of pride, responsibility, and awe. She knew that this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, full of mysteries and challenges, but humans had always faced the unknown with courage. This mission was no different. She placed a hand on the glass, almost as if connecting with the planet, and whispered, "Let's see what we can learn." The first part of their journey had been filled with wonder, hope, and anticipation. The Odyssey had left Earth behind, traveled through the vast darkness of space, and reached a world that defied imagination. The crew had shown humanity's ingenuity, bravery, and ability to dream. But even as they celebrated their discoveries, a quiet, mysterious presence lingered just beyond their sensors, a presence that neither science nor experience could fully explain. It shimmered faintly, like a whisper in the void, unnoticed by most, but sensed by those with keen eyes and minds open to the unknown. Dr. Kale stared at the readings late into the night, unable to sleep. He felt the energy signature's subtle pull, as if the planet itself were calling to him. He made a note to discuss it with Captain Voss in the morning. Deep inside, he knew that the journey ahead would challenge everything he thought he understood about life, the universe, and even humanity itself. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of wonder, gazing at the alien skies, feeling that he and his crew were witnessing the beginning of something extraordinary. And so, the Odyssey continued its orbit, carrying humanity's hopes and dreams into the unknown. The crew slept, studied, and prepared, unaware that the universe had already begun to test them in ways they could never have imagined. The journey that began with excitement and pride was only the first chapter of a story that would reveal the true strength, resilience, and spirit of humanity in the face of the infinite. The morning light of the alien world stretched across the crystalline plains, casting shimmering reflections that danced like fire across the landscape. Inside the Odyssey, the crew moved with purpose. Each team was assigned a sector to scan, map, and analyze. The excitement from their first glimpse of the planet had not faded. Instead, it had deepened into a quiet determination to understand every aspect of this new world. Captain Elena Voss stood in the observation deck, her eyes fixed on the surface below. Even after decades of space missions, the beauty and strangeness of a completely new planet never failed to inspire awe in her. Beside her, Dr. Ryan Kale adjusted the settings on his portable scanner, eager to collect as much information as possible. The young biologist had already spent hours examining the drone images from the day before. Each detail, every strange plant, glowing river, and floating rock filled him with wonder. "Captain," Lieutenant Marco Reyes said, pointing at the readings on his console, "the atmosphere is breathable with minor adjustments to oxygen levels. Gravity is slightly lower than Earth's, but nothing our bodies can't handle." His tone carried both professionalism and a hint of excitement. The crew's technical team had been careful to measure every parameter, ensuring that landing parties would be safe. Elena nodded. "Prepare the landing teams. We will deploy small scouting parties to the surface. Keep comms open at all times, and remember that we are here to explore, not disturb. Our priority is observation and study." Her voice carried the calm authority that had earned her the crew's trust. Every order she gave was precise, leaving no room for confusion. Dr. Kyle joined the first landing party, his heart pounding as the shuttle descended through the alien skies. Below them, the world looked alive. Rivers of glowing liquid wove through forests of crystalline trees, and strange creatures moved in patterns that seemed almost choreographed, as if dancing to a rhythm humans could not perceive. The air smelled faintly sweet, and each breath carried a sense of vitality that invigorated every member of the landing team. As they set foot on the surface, Dr. Kale marveled at the textures underfoot. The soil was soft but firm, glowing faintly with traces of bioluminescence. Plants with translucent leaves swayed in the gentle breeze, and strange insects with shimmering wings flitted through the air. He knelt to examine a flower-like organism, gently brushing his fingers against its glowing petals. It responded by opening fully, revealing patterns of light that seemed almost like a language. "This is incredible," Dr. Kale whispered, unaware that Captain Voss was observing him from a distance. "Everything here. It's alive in ways we've never seen." Elena's voice came through the comm link, calm but firm. "Keep moving. Record everything. But do not interact with any organisms directly unless it is safe. Stay aware of your surroundings." Her tone carried the authority of experience, but there was also a trace of awe, as if even she could not fully comprehend the world before her. The team continued exploring, moving toward a nearby river that glowed softly under the pale sunlight. Strange creatures with long, graceful limbs and reflective eyes watched them curiously from the banks. Every step seemed to reveal something new. A tree with leaves that shimmered like water, rocks that hummed faintly when touched, and flowers that released clouds of sparkling pollen. The entire ecosystem seemed interconnected, as if every organism were part of a single intelligent design. Hours passed as the team documented the environment, taking samples that would later be analyzed aboard the Odyssey. Dr. Kale's excitement grew with each discovery. He collected samples of soil, plant matter, and water, making careful notes about their composition and unique properties. Every detail hinted at a planet that had evolved in ways both familiar and astonishingly alien. Back on the ship, the rest of the crew monitored the landing team's progress. Lieutenant Reyes and the communications team kept a close eye on sensor readings, making sure everything remained within safe limits. Dr. Kale's enthusiasm was contagious. Even the more cautious members of the crew found themselves captivated by the beauty and complexity of the world below. But as the day wore on, subtle changes began to appear. The energy signature that had been faintly detected earlier became stronger, pulsating gently in the readings. Sensors picked up small anomalies, objects disappearing for a moment, shadows that did not match any visible source. At first, these occurrences were minor, barely noticeable, but they were enough to make Captain Voss frown as she studied the data. "Something is not right," she said quietly to herself. "We need to stay alert." The landing teams, still unaware of the anomaly, continued their work. Dr. Kale approached a cluster of crystalline trees, fascinated by the way their branches seemed to bend and twist in patterns that mirrored the glowing rivers. As he reached out to examine one, a soft vibration ran through the ground. He paused, sensing something unusual, but dismissed it as a natural reaction of the alien soil. Then, without warning, one of the other scientists on the landing team, Dr. Leora Chen, simply vanished. One moment she was adjusting her scanner, and the next, she was gone. The shuttle team froze, staring at the empty space where she had been standing. "Dr. Chen!" Dr. Kale shouted, panic rising in his chest. He reached out, but there was nothing to grab. Captain Voss's voice came sharply through the comm link. "Report! What happened?" She just disappeared." Dr. Kale's voice trembled. "One moment she was here, and the next, gone." "Stay calm," Elena ordered, her tone firm despite the tension she felt. "Retrace your steps. Look for any sign of her. Do not leave the group." The team searched the area, scanning the terrain with their instruments. But there was no trace of Dr. Chen. It was as if she had been erased from existence. Fear gripped the landing party. The planet, which had seemed so welcoming and wondrous just hours before, now felt alien and dangerous. Back on the Odyssey, sensors confirmed the disappearance. Lieutenant Reyes and the technical team reviewed the data, trying to find an explanation. "There's no record of a malfunction in her suit," Reyes said. "No readings indicating movement off the planet. It's like she just vanished." Captain Voss clenched her fists, her mind racing. "We cannot panic. Organize a search party, but proceed cautiously. Keep all teams within visual and sensor range. There may be something here we don't understand." The landing teams moved carefully, scanning for the missing crew member. Dr. Kale felt a growing sense of dread, a feeling that the planet itself was aware of them, observing their every move. The glowing rivers, the swaying trees, the shimmering creatures, they all seemed to pulse with life in a way that was almost intentional, almost knowing. As the hours passed, more subtle disappearances occurred. Tools, equipment, and eventually other scientists vanished, each time leaving only emptiness behind. Panic spread among the remaining crew on the surface. Dr. Kale clung to the hope that they could understand and contain whatever force was responsible. But with each disappearance, the mystery deepened. Captain Voss coordinated the response from the ship. "Keep communication open. Do not split up. Document everything. We will find a pattern." She could feel the tension in her chest, the same tension that every captain faces when confronted with the unknown. This was not a threat they could fight with weapons alone. This was something different, something beyond human understanding. Dr. Kale, moving with the remaining team, began to notice a pattern in the anomalies. The energy signature that had appeared earlier seemed to intensify near the vanished crew members' last locations. It was almost as if the energy itself was taking them. But why? And how? The questions swirled in his mind, mixing with fear, awe, and determination. Despite the danger, Dr. Kyle felt a surge of human resolve. Humanity had always faced the unknown with curiosity and courage. If they could understand this energy, if they could communicate with it, perhaps they could save their colleagues. He began documenting everything meticulously, noting every detail of the planet, every fluctuation in the energy field, and every disappearance. As night fell over the alien landscape, the remaining landing team gathered near the shuttle for shelter. The planet's glow illuminated the crystalline trees and rivers, but the beauty now carried a sense of unease. Every shadow seemed to stretch further, every sound seemed amplified, as if the world itself were alive and aware. Captain Voss ordered the shuttle to return to orbit, but the energy field appeared to interfere with the ship's instruments. The shuttle struggled to maintain its trajectory. Sensors flickering and warning alarms sounding intermittently. Dr. Kale held on tightly, fear mixing with the same awe that had driven him to this world. The planet had become both a wonder and a threat, a place of incredible beauty and unfathomable danger. When the shuttle finally returned to the Odyssey, the crew conducted a full debrief. The energy signature was stronger than ever, and the missing crew members were nowhere to be found. Dr. Kale shared his observations, carefully noting the patterns he had discovered. Captain Voss listened intently, her mind calculating every possible response. Humanity had faced countless challenges in the past, but this was unlike anything they had encountered. The unknown they had ventured into was alive, intelligent in a way that defied understanding, and capable of actions beyond human comprehension. That night, the remaining crew gathered in the observation deck, staring at the planet below. Its glow was mesmerizing, almost hypnotic, but it carried a silent warning. The energy signature pulsed faintly, as if acknowledging their presence, as if aware that they were watching. Dr. Kale felt a strange mixture of fear and admiration. This world was more than a planet. It was a living mystery, a force that demanded respect, curiosity, and courage. Captain Voss spoke softly, almost to herself. "We came to explore, to understand, to witness the wonders of the universe. We must remember that curiosity is our greatest strength, but caution is our greatest ally. Whatever this is, we must approach it with the best of humanity in our hearts and minds." Dr. Kyle nodded, feeling the weight of her words. Humanity had always faced the unknown with intelligence, creativity, and bravery. Now they were being tested in ways they had never imagined. The missing crew members were proof that the universe held dangers beyond human knowledge. But the remaining team had the chance to learn, to adapt, and to survive. As the Odyssey orbited the alien planet, the crew worked through the night, analyzing data, adjusting protocols, and preparing for the next steps. Each member knew that their actions, their choices, and their courage would determine not just their survival, but the survival of their colleagues. The universe had presented them with a challenge, one that required the very best of what it meant to be human. And in the quiet hum of the ship, as sensors recorded the glowing patterns of the alien world below, Dr. Kale understood a truth that had always been at the heart of exploration. Humanity's strength was not just in technology or knowledge, but in curiosity, courage, and the willingness to face the unknown with open hearts and minds. The journey had become more dangerous than anyone could have anticipated. The disappearances were a grim reminder that the universe was vast, mysterious, and often beyond understanding. But the Odyssey carried the spirit of humanity, a spirit that would not be broken, a spirit that would push forward into the unknown, no matter the cost. The crew would face challenges they could not imagine, confront mysteries they could not explain, and discover truths that would test the limits of human courage. Yet through it all, they would remain explorers, witnesses, and students of the universe. And as the alien planet glowed beneath them, pulsing with life and secrets, the Odyssey sailed onward, carrying the hopes, dreams, and resilience of all humanity. The Odyssey drifted silently above the alien planet, the glowing terrain below pulsing with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. Captain Elena Voss and Dr. Ryan Kale stared at the readings on their consoles, their faces tense. The energy signature that had caused the disappearances now dominated the sensors, fluctuating in patterns that no human technology could fully explain. Every attempt to understand it had yielded fragments of information, but the anomaly's intelligence, if it could be called that, remained elusive. "This isn't random," Dr. Kale said quietly, his finger tracing the pulses on the display. "There's a pattern. Every time someone disappears, the energy field shifts. It's as if it reacts to them." Captain Voss nodded, her jaw tight. "Reacts or tests. We don't know its purpose, but we have to assume it is aware of us. Awareness implies intelligence." Her voice was calm, but carried an undercurrent of worry. Every captain in history had faced unknown dangers, but this was something entirely new. The universe had presented them with a force that could erase humans without warning, a force that seemed almost sentient. Dr. Kale ran a series of simulations, analyzing the timing and locations of the disappearances. "It's almost selective," he said. "It doesn't just take anyone. It seems curious, observing, testing reactions." He looked up at Captain Voss. "If that's true, then maybe it can be reasoned with." Voss frowned. "Reasoned with? You mean communicate?" "Yes," he said. "Not with words, but through patterns, symbols, actions, human creativity. If it is intelligent, it might recognize our intent." His words were tentative, born from a mix of hope and desperation. The captain considered this. She had led crews through crises before, but this was unprecedented. "We will try," she said finally. "We must be careful, but we have to attempt contact. If we can understand it, we can protect the remaining crew and possibly recover those who are missing." Preparations began immediately. The remaining crew on board gathered in the main observation deck, reviewing all available data. Engineers adjusted the ship's instruments to amplify the energy readings, while scientists created displays of light, sound, and motion that might attract the anomaly's attention. Dr. Kale worked tirelessly, translating human knowledge, art, and logic into signals that the anomaly could potentially perceive. Hours passed as the team labored. The alien planet below continued its quiet pulsing, its glowing rivers and crystalline trees casting strange reflections inside the ship. The crew worked through fatigue, driven by a shared determination to save their colleagues and to confront the unknown with the best of human skill and ingenuity. Finally, they were ready. Captain Voss took a deep breath and addressed the crew. "We have one chance to communicate with whatever is responsible for the disappearances. We are representing humanity. We are using our intellect, creativity, and empathy. Remember, our strength is our ability to adapt and understand. Proceed with care. Dr. Kale activated the first sequence of signals. Patterns of light and sound emanated from the ship, cascading toward the planet like ripples in a vast pool. For a moment, nothing happened. The sensors displayed faint fluctuations, almost imperceptible. Then slowly, the energy signature began to respond. Pulses of light mirrored the patterns sent by the Odyssey. It was subtle, tentative, but unmistakable. "It's responding," Dr. Kyle whispered, barely daring to breathe. "It recognizes us." Captain Voss's eyes narrowed as she studied the readings. "Not just recognizing, it's testing us." The crew watched in tense silence as the anomaly intensified. Small holographic projections appeared above the consoles, representing the reactions of the energy field. It seemed to analyze, adjust, and reflect every signal sent. Dr. Kale realized that the anomaly was not hostile in the way they had feared. It was intelligent, patient, and possibly curious. Encouraged, Dr. Kale adjusted the signals to include representations of human cooperation, problem-solving, and creativity. Images of human inventions, patterns of mathematics, and sequences of music were transmitted. The anomaly's response grew more pronounced. Pulses of light moved in synchronized patterns, echoing the human input with precision and subtle complexity. It was as if the entity were learning, understanding, and communicating in a language of energy and rhythm. Captain Voss allowed herself a small, measured smile. "It is intelligent," she said quietly. "It is not just an anomaly. It is something else. Something beyond our understanding, but not necessarily a threat if we respect it." Dr. Kale's heart raced. If it respects intelligence, curiosity, and empathy, then we have a chance to retrieve the missing crew members. But we must be careful. Any misstep could provoke it. The next step was delicate. Dr. Kale proposed sending representations of the missing crew members' last positions, combined with sequences that reflected human intent, teamwork, and calm reasoning. The anomaly's pulses grew more intense, swirling and vibrating around the ship in ways that seemed almost communicative. Hours passed in this tense exchange. The crew remained alert, monitoring every fluctuation. Slowly, one by one, the missing crew members began to reappear, their forms materializing in the shuttle bay with soft pulses of light, dissipating into solid matter. Dr. Kale held his breath as the last crew member blinked into existence. Unharmed but bewildered, Captain Voss exhaled, relief flooding her features. "All recovered?" she asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her body. Dr. Kale nodded, his own relief tempered by awe. "All accounted for. It responded to our reasoning, our creativity, our humanity." The crew embraced quietly, overwhelmed by the miracle they had witnessed. They had faced a force beyond human comprehension, and had succeeded not through aggression or fear, but through intellect, empathy, and the uniquely human ability to adapt. The anomaly pulsed faintly, almost as if acknowledging their achievement, and then receded, withdrawing into the atmosphere of the planet. For the first time since their journey began, the crew felt a sense of hope. They had survived, learned, and connected with something truly alien. The Odyssey's mission had evolved from exploration to understanding, and the experience had shown them the potential of humanity's spirit. Captain Voss gathered the crew in the observation deck. "We have witnessed the power of human ingenuity and courage," she said. "We have been tested and proven capable. Remember this feeling and carry it with you. Humanity's strength lies not only in our technology, but in our curiosity, creativity, and determination. Today, we have faced the unknown and shown what it means to be human." Dr. Kale looked out at the planet below, its glow now softer, almost serene. He reflected on what they had learned. The anomaly had tested them, observed them, and respected their intelligence. It had challenged them to rise above fear, to communicate and reason, and to show the best of humanity. In doing so, it had revealed not only its nature but also the remarkable resilience and spirit of humans. The following days were spent documenting, analyzing, and learning from the planet and its anomaly. The crew moved carefully, respecting the boundaries of the intelligent energy field, while collecting samples and data that would revolutionize science back on Earth. Every discovery was celebrated, every observation meticulously recorded. Dr. Kale felt a deep sense of fulfillment, the wonder of exploration, the joy of learning, and the triumph of human courage had never been clearer. Despite the challenges, the crew began to feel a growing connection with the anomaly. It had not harmed them, had not shown aggression, and seemed to value intelligence and creativity. Through their actions, they had communicated across the vast divide of understanding, proving that humanity could rise to meet even the most alien of challenges. Captain Voss allowed herself a rare moment of reflection. She thought of Earth, of the people who had watched the launch, of the generations who had dreamed of this moment. Humanity had reached into the unknown and faced a force that could have destroyed them. Yet they had prevailed through skill, courage, and wisdom. This mission was more than a scientific achievement. It was a testament to what humans could accomplish when they remained true to their principles. Dr. Kale joined her at the observation deck, his eyes still wide with awe. "We have done something extraordinary," he said softly. "Not just for science, but for humanity itself. We've shown that even in the face of forces beyond understanding, humans can adapt, reason, and survive." Captain Voss nodded. "Yes, but we must remember, this planet, this anomaly, is still a mystery. There is much we do not know. Curiosity brought us here, and caution will keep us safe. We will continue our mission, but with respect for what we cannot yet understand." The Odyssey resumed its orbit, moving carefully to avoid disturbing the anomaly while continuing to gather data. The crew worked tirelessly, balancing exploration with caution, driven by the knowledge that they had faced one of the universe's greatest tests and had emerged stronger, wiser, and more united. As the alien night descended, the glowing rivers and crystalline trees reflected in the ship's observation windows. The crew felt a quiet connection to the world below. They had been challenged, tested, and inspired. The experience had deepened their understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos and had shown them the power of intellect, courage, and curiosity. Dr. Kale looked at the stars beyond the planet, realizing that humanity's journey had only just begun. There would be more worlds to explore, more mysteries to unravel, and more challenges to face. But for the first time, he felt a profound confidence. No matter the unknown, humans could rise, adapt, and prevail. Their spirit, ingenuity, and perseverance were unparalleled, and the universe would remember that humanity had arrived, not just as explorers, but as beings capable of understanding, learning, and inspiring. Captain Voss stood beside him, her gaze steady on the alien world. "We are not alone in the universe, Ryan," she said, "but we have something unique. Our curiosity, our creativity, our courage, that is what makes us human, and that is what will guide us through every challenge we face." The Odyssey glided silently above the alien planet, its crew forever changed by the encounter. They had faced the incomprehensible and had emerged not only unscathed, but enlightened. The anomaly had tested them, but in doing so, it had revealed the true strength of humanity, an unyielding spirit, a relentless pursuit of knowledge, and an enduring courage that no force in the universe could suppress. And as the crew prepared for the final phase of their mission, returning to Earth with the knowledge, experience, and awe of what they had witnessed. They carried a deeper understanding that humanity's greatest power was not in machines or technology, but in the heart and mind of every person brave enough to explore the unknown. The Odyssey drifted away from the glowing planet, leaving its crystalline forests and luminous rivers behind. The crew had learned much in the days they had spent orbiting, exploring, and interacting with the intelligent energy anomaly. Each member had been tested, challenged, and inspired, and every person aboard now carried a sense of quiet pride in what they had accomplished. Humanity had faced the unknown and shown its courage, creativity, and resilience. Captain Elena Voss walked through the corridors of the ship, observing her crew as they worked. Some analyzed data collected from the planet, others organized samples, and a few were still recording their experiences in personal logs. Each person moved with a calm focus that came from surviving a test unlike any they had known. Though exhaustion lingered in their movements, there was a shared energy that could only come from a sense of triumph and discovery. Dr. Rian Kale stood by the observation deck, gazing at the fading glow of the planet below. Even though it was no longer their immediate focus, the world's presence lingered in his mind, like a dream that refused to fade. He reflected on the anomalies, the disappearances, and the anomalies' eventual understanding of humanity. In the end, it had been human ingenuity and empathy, not force or aggression, that had restored balance. Captain Voss joined him silently, her eyes fixed on the slowly receding planet. "It's hard to believe we survived and learned so much," she said softly. "It tested us, yet it also taught us. We've seen what humanity can do when challenged by the unknown." Dr. Kale nodded. "It respected our intelligence and our spirit. It could have destroyed us, but it chose to respond. And in doing so, it showed us that the universe is not just about danger, it is also about understanding, curiosity, and connection." The ship continued on its path back to Earth, but the journey was not without challenges. The anomaly had left subtle fluctuations in space, remnants of its energy field that the Odyssey had to navigate carefully. Even small miscalculations could have caused the ship to lose critical systems or drift into instability. Lieutenant Marco Reyes, the navigator, worked tirelessly, adjusting the ship's course and coordinating with engineering to maintain a smooth trajectory. Every crew member knew that returning home safely required the same focus, ingenuity, and discipline that had allowed them to survive the anomaly in the first place. As days passed, the crew analyzed the data collected from the planet and the anomaly. Dr. Kale discovered new biological structures and energy patterns that defied earthly physics, while engineers studied the anomaly's energy signatures for applications in safe propulsion, energy management, and communications. Every discovery highlighted the brilliance of human curiosity and the drive to understand the universe. Even after witnessing something beyond human comprehension, they sought to learn, adapt, and apply their knowledge responsibly. One evening, Captain Voss gathered the crew in the observation deck for a final debrief. The room was quiet, lit by the soft glow of Earth rising in the distance. Everyone listened intently as she spoke. "We have returned from a journey that many thought impossible. We faced a force that could have ended us, yet we endured. We worked together, we reasoned, and we showed what it means to be human. We explored not just a planet, but the potential of humanity itself." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We have a responsibility now. The discoveries we bring home are not merely for science, but for all of humanity. We must share them wisely, inspire others to explore, and remind everyone that curiosity, courage, and cooperation are humanity's greatest strengths." Dr. Kale stepped forward, holding a datapad filled with the anomaly's readings and the planet's biological data. "Captain, the anomaly's energy field is unlike anything we've ever seen, but it also responded to what is uniquely human. our patterns, our creativity, our reasoning. It has taught us that intelligence alone is not enough. Humanity's ingenuity comes from empathy, collaboration, and imagination. That is what made it recognize us. The crew nodded, absorbing the weight of his words. They had witnessed humanity at its best, thinking critically, solving problems creatively, and facing fear with courage. The experience had left them humbled, inspired, and confident in the potential of their species. As Earth grew larger on the ship's view screens, the crew felt a sense of anticipation. They were returning not just as explorers, but as ambassadors of humanity's spirit. The journey had tested them physically, mentally, and emotionally, and the trials had strengthened their unity. Each person understood that they carried the hopes and dreams of everyone on Earth. The anomaly remained a mystery, yet its interaction with the crew had left a lasting impression. It had been a teacher, a challenger, and a mirror, reflecting humanity's strengths back to them. Dr. Kale realized that the anomaly's purpose might never be fully understood, but the lessons it offered were clear. Humanity could thrive not by domination, but by understanding, by respect, and by courage in the face of the unknown. During the final hours of the journey, small celebrations took place aboard the Odyssey. Crew members shared stories of their experiences, laughed quietly at moments of fear that had passed, and marveled at the beauty of the universe around them. The tension that had once gripped the ship had transformed into pride, awe, and a renewed sense of purpose. Every individual felt that they had witnessed something extraordinary and had contributed to an achievement that would inspire generations. Captain Voss walked among them, quietly observing. She had always known that humanity's true strength was not in technology alone, but in the hearts and minds of those who wielded it. This mission had proven that strength in ways she had never imagined. The anomaly had challenged them, yet it had also validated the human spirit, its curiosity, resilience, and courage. Dr. Kale lingered at the observation deck, staring at Earth growing larger with each passing hour. He thought of the scientists, engineers, and explorers who had dedicated their lives to this mission. He thought of the missing crew members who had returned, each one a testament to the power of intellect and perseverance. He thought of the anomaly, a reminder that the universe was alive with mysteries waiting to be discovered. As the Odyssey entered Earth's orbit, Mission Control welcomed them with cheers and relief. Humanity had waited decades for this moment, and the return of the crew was celebrated across the planet. News broadcasts displayed the breathtaking images of the alien planet and the shimmering energy anomalies, inspiring awe and excitement worldwide. Children dreamed of space travel, scientists marveled at the discoveries, and leaders recognized the importance of curiosity and cooperation in advancing human knowledge. Captain Voss and Dr. Kale led the crew down to Earth, each step a reminder of the journey they had endured and the lessons they had learned. The media hailed them as heroes, but the crew understood that their true accomplishment was more profound. They had faced the unknown with intellect and courage, and in doing so, they had demonstrated what humanity could achieve when united by curiosity and respect for the universe. The data collected from the alien planet and the anomaly transformed Earth's understanding of life, energy, and exploration. Scientists studied the energy signatures, uncovering principles that would revolutionize physics and engineering. Biologists marveled at the strange life forms, learning from their unique adaptations and structures. Humanity's perspective on the universe had shifted, fueled by the bravery and intelligence of those aboard the Odyssey. Dr. Kyle stood outside the spaceport, looking up at the stars. He thought of the anomaly, the glowing rivers, and the crystalline forests. He knew that the universe was vast and filled with challenges, yet he felt hope. Humanity had shown that it could rise to meet the unknown, not through force or aggression, but through curiosity, courage, and understanding. The journey had proven that human potential was limitless when guided by intellect and empathy. Captain Voss joined him silently. "We've done more than explore," she said. "We've proven that humanity can confront the unknown and emerge stronger. We've shown that intelligence, courage, and unity are what make us extraordinary." Dr. Kale nodded. "And this is just the beginning. There are countless worlds, countless mysteries. Humanity has only scratched the surface, but now we know. We have the courage, the curiosity, and the skill to face them." The crew of the Odyssey returned to their lives with a renewed sense of purpose. Each discovery, each challenge, and each triumph became part of the legacy they would leave behind. Schools, universities, and research centers studied their findings, inspiring future generations to dream of the stars and to believe in humanity's ability to achieve the impossible. As night fell on Earth, Dr. Kale gazed at the stars once more. Somewhere out there, the anomaly pulsed quietly, a reminder that the universe was full of life, intelligence, and mystery. Humanity had faced it, had learned from it, and had proven its resilience. The journey of the Odyssey was over, but the spirit it had revealed, the spirit of curiosity, courage, and unity, would continue to guide humanity forward toward new discoveries, new challenges, and new horizons. Captain Voss watched from the control room, reflecting on the mission. The journey had tested every aspect of human skill and spirit, yet the crew had endured, adapted, and triumphed. Humanity's potential, she realized, was not measured by technology alone, but by the ability to confront the unknown with intelligence, empathy, and courage. The universe was vast and full of mysteries, but humans had shown they could rise to meet them. Dr. Kale joined her. "The universe is waiting for us," he said, "and now we are ready." The Odyssey rested in the spaceport, its crew celebrated, its mission complete. But beyond the celebrations, beyond the data and discoveries, a quiet truth remained. Humanity had faced the unknown and had emerged not only victorious, but enlightened. Curiosity, courage, and unity had carried them through, proving that the human spirit was capable of achieving the extraordinary, no matter how vast or incomprehensible the universe might be. And so, as the stars twinkled above, the crew of the Odyssey looked forward, knowing that the journey of exploration, discovery, and human triumph had only just begun.